Hey guys, how you doing? This is Just Go Fly. I'm showing you some things in There Are Billions map generation. This is intended to get you guys started making your own maps. There's been some questions on how to start creating maps. What I've decided to do is just to load one of my maps just to show you some of the initial things, and then we'll generate a map from scratch. When you first create a map in the map editor, you want to do File New. This will be blank. Give it a name, difficulty, type in a description. The map page will be blank. I'll show you how to fill that in. Events will be blank. I'll show you a little bit about this, but probably not going to go into too much detail. This is kind of an advanced section here. Game narrative would be the next thing you'd want to do after doing your initial file new. And you want to have some idea of what it is that you're designing. You can't generate a map without an idea. So this map is a tower defense map, and what I do is on game start, I set up a block under actions on game start. It'll run this script. You can see the block is just a way of adding things in a group. You could have multiple blocks and you have conditions around them, but you can see there's no condition or no execute. So what I decided to do is write at game start, display a window that says look around, there should be help to get you wood. And get a wood workshop, ballista, go fishing and find resources, freebies in the command center. So that's put in as the window message. You have a title, you have text. Now the only way this is really going to work for you is if you make some mistakes at the start. So just go ahead and start adding things. Display window would be a good thing to start. You can download some sounds or generate your own sounds as MP3 files. This says do as I say and you live. I recorded that and saved it as an MP3 file and I play it back in the game. So you can give resources, you can do all sorts of things. Obviously that's through this selection here. You could do execute code, give entities to the colony. You click this little plus sign that is right next to the drop down list. You can drag and drop these things. You can move them with these arrows. You can indent and unindent. So what does that do? Well, let's say I had a condition on here that said, if there might be a screen that you would put up that would ask them easy, medium, hard, and you wanted to do 3 blocks, one for easy, one for medium, one for hard, but you always wanted to display this message. You would unindent it would go up top. You can move it down or up, and easy might give a lot of resources, which would be selection of an entity, which maybe you give them oil. These are a type. Alright, this is give bonus. Let's find the one. Give bonus entities, give remove resources. That's the one we wanted, okay. So you can see you can give gold, wood, stone, oil. You can't make multiplications in here yet. Maybe they'll add that. So it would be nice if you said easy was a 4 factor and medium was a 2 and hard was a 1, and then you said something like 1,000 times the variable. So 1,000 times 4 would be 4,000. 1,000 times 2 is 2,000. 1,000 times 1. So that's a programming way of speaking. Okay, I am a programmer, so I may get caught up doing that. But in this case, what you'd need to do is set up 3 blocks, one for easy, one for medium, and one for hard, and type in what you wanted for each of them. And the block would have a condition in there that said if whatever the variable is equal to a number, 0, 1, or 2. Maybe 0 is easy, 1 is medium, and 2 is hard. I can go into that at some other point, but that's a little bit beyond the scope of this. I just want to get you guys started and then you pursue this type of stuff, the programming portion of it later, okay? So on game 1, what I've got here is it displays another window and it says you're too strong for us, you win, and it plays a sound. It says title is we concede. On game loss, now note that nothing in here is setting the win or loss condition. It's reacting to a condition that's set in the game to winning or losing, and we'll get to that in a second. So on game loss, this occurs if the Giants are dead. Okay. So we'll have to find a variable named Giants. It's not the variable in the game. It's the name that I used, and we'll switch to that. So just remember that we want to look up Giants, okay? And it says, you know, good game, not really, and then it plays a sound, you know, goodbye, and don't think it hasn't been a little slice of heaven. So let's go find this is dead Giants. Why did I put that in there for the condition of losing? So this is checked throughout the game, and what will happen is if this condition is met, then you'll lost the game. So let's find the variable. Is dead Giants. Okay, it's not a variable, it's an custom ID. Boy, I'm going to stick myself here. Where are the Giants? Is dead Giants. Alright, I'm going to have to come back to that. I'm not sure why this is in there. Obviously something more sophisticated than I can even think of now. I haven't worked on this since December, so it's like 7 months ago. So I'll find that. I'm not going to go through the custom commands. I do have another video that teaches you how to set up the custom button and how to use it, but you can see in this game I set up a custom button to be a market, and it does various variables to determine. So I set a difficulty level that you get to choose at the beginning of the game, and I do different things. I give you different things in the market based on the difficulty. Alright, so what are variables? Variables are a way a programming language uses to track things. So I set up my own variables here. This left column are variables that I set up. I have a difficulty multiplier, which is easy, medium, hard. I have a way of displaying messages, and I set it to either true or false. That's called a Boolean when it's true or false. Integer would be numeric, 0 through 9 or 0 through 100. Fractions are typically not something we're going to deal with here. You typically want to always stick with integer math in games like this. I have other variables for other reasons. As I needed them, I add them, and we could go through a couple of those maybe in a different video. Hard-coded into the game are these variables, system variables and functions. So you can reference a variable called hour, and you can determine the hour of the day and the day or the total hours. And of course, there's 24 hours in a day. So if you want to be able to do a difference between one time and another, you want to use total hours and keep track of, for instance, if you wanted to say the third hour of the second day, that would be 24 plus 3, right? Okay, so you can keep track of the gold production, the day, the energy level. You can keep track of a specific entity, like how many soldiers you have, how many rangers you have. You can trigger on things. If all your rangers die, you can trigger an event. And that's in the eventing tab, but these variables would be used there. Let's see. Okay, so we have other symbols here, which are typically entity types. So you could say count fishermen or farms or executors, and you can react to that. Okay, you need to play with this in order to be able to figure out what this stuff does. These should be common names in the game. The only thing I don't like are the fact that they didn't really reference the actual name of the units. Like for instance, week A, week B, week C, worker A, worker Venom instead of Spitter. Strong is Chubby, and you kind of just got to play with them to understand that. So let's go to the map, and you can see I set up this map and I drew it to have water, land. These, let me zoom in a little bit, see if I can zoom in here. No, I can't really zoom in. All right, so these little wiggly areas here are actually water of a single entity wide, so it looks just like a line. This is 2 wide. Let's see, I can zoom in. All right, so to zoom in, I use the wheel in, zoom, wheel out, zoom out. I hold the right mouse button down and I can drag the map around so I can zoom in and work on specific things. I put these houses here. If I click on them, I can right click and choose edit, and I can give it a name, and I can choose whether it's neutral. So what this is it's infected. It'll generate infected units, and it'll play a sound when it joins, which it never will in this map. Actually, I modified this map. No, this doesn't have the modification of allowing the user to get out here. So the user is pretty much confined to this whole area in the bottom, and this strip here, here, and here. So you could see they can't build anything outside of this region. Everything over here, this is a track. So what will happen at the beginning of this map, and this is posted if you want to look under Just Go Fly Vinny. Units will spawn here and they'll just start running, and they'll run up here and around here. Then they have to run all the way down here and then up here, and then they have a little maze to run through over here. And so this takes time for them to do that. That's why I did it. I designed it so that it takes time. They have to run all the way up here and then another little maze, and they come down here, and that will take enough time for you to be able to gather resources, build a little bit of a base, and get some defenses up before they reach you. Okay, so same thing with this side. They'll spawn here and they run down and up through here and down here, around this maze, and down, 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 boom, 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 boom. Then they come up and they go into your base. Okay. So that's just this map. Map drawing. Let's see if there's something else here I want to show you. All right. So what I've got is a bunch of day 0 events because I want to set up various things to occur right from the start. I set up an event called Ask Difficulty Level and Give Freebies. Okay, so you can see it's all blank down here. It doesn't have any units. It doesn't spawn anything. It's just used to enable you access to the script tab, and they've hard-coded the ability for you to make an event that generates units, which are what all these are, or you can just write a script. So again, we have the block. So this looks very much like what I was talking about earlier, where I make a notification. I say, look around, there are resources you need. All right, and that's always posted. Then there's a block. No condition on the block. It'll always run this block. It'll play a sound. Okay. The sound is, if you use walls, there would be consequences. Then it will have a selection that says, how difficult would you like to make this map? Know that you get freebies at hour 2. Sorry, I zoomed in there. So you get a selection, and the way this works, and this is somewhat complicated, so I could post some maps that you could play with, but basically what you're doing is you're executing the script, and this is a choose option script, so it'll bring up two things on the screen. You can put in your own pictures and make it look just like the way it's done in There Are Billions, okay? So you'll have two choices, one of which is difficulty level of 1, and let's see where that's labeled. And the second is, okay, the text says hard. Difficulty level is, so what this did is after you make the selection, it assigns the number 2 to difficulty multiplier. And after you make the selection for normal, it assigns a difficulty multiplier of 1. You'll see that in a second how that's used. So after this block is executed, it will run this block. And now it's actually reacting to the difficulty multiplier. So this is the multiplier of hard. Remember, easy or normal was 1 and hard was 2. And it says if the multiplier is 2, then give resources. 300 gold, 200 energy, 40 workers. If the difficulty multiplier is equal to 1, equal is a C++ term to say if this is equal to this number, then give 400 gold, 400 energy, 70 workers, and add exceeding resources as a bonus, okay? So this kind of thing is pretty typical at the start of a map that you might want to give the unit something. You can always come back and add this later in the game if when you play your own map you find out that you don't have enough money. For instance, those guys on my map are running around the map. If they always make it to your home base and you don't have enough resources to build anything to defend main base, then you probably want to give your players something, okay? It's balancing the game, and so that's what this block does. So the next day 0 is to update a counter. Again, you'll see these difficulty multipliers everywhere. This is basically saying if it's normal, then count the stone plus the wood, and if it's equal to 0, then the warning count is reset to 0. Now this is somewhat complicated, so I'm not necessarily going to walk you through this, but basically what I did with here was I programmed something that if they drop a stone wall or a wood wall, I start spawning enemies in out of your main base. So I tell you, you're not allowed to use walls. So if you put a wall down, and this is very complicated because this actually warns you 3 times before it tells you remove the wall, remove the wall, remove the wall, and then it just infects your base. Okay, so I'm not going to go through that, but I could show you that in a separate video. This is saying if it's a normal selection, it's checking to see if stone is greater than 0 and gold is greater than 1,000. This is a counter variable. I'm not going to go through this. Okay, debug message. This triggers if the debug message is true and the wall count is greater than 0. Again, this is me posting for myself to be able to debug this map. And I put this on some maps so that what I do is I actually start logging more information if I build a wall or something. Maybe it's a farm. And I say if there's a farm and I want to do debug message, because at the time that I build this map I might set display debug message to false, so it'll override whether there's a farm or a wall. But if it's set to true and I want to debug this, then, and I'm going to lose half my audience on this one, then it starts displaying messages. And the message looks like this. It says walls placed at a certain hour. the total number of hours, the wall warning counter. So these are things I wanted to know while I was playing the map, and it pops them up as long as I have a wall down. When I delete the wall, it stops displaying those pop-up messages. So it's a method for debugging. All right, let's see if there's anything else here we can go through. All right, normal difficulty. Give you another option, and this is done at hour 2. Let's look at the schedule. 2H means hour 2. If I said 1D, that would be day 1. If I said 1D 2H, that would be day 1, hour 2. So at hour 2, another selection pops up, and it asks you, pick your poison, choose well. And you can see there's 2 blocks here. One is for normal and one is for hard. So in normal, I ask you, do you want an executor, an advanced quarry, or a sniper technology? And for hard level, I ask you, do you want a ballista, a quarry, or sniper technology? All right. So you get a little freebie there at hour 2. I'm not going to go through wall reaction. So at day 2, I start spawning zombies, 140 to 200 weak zombies. Now, when you spawn zombies, very important you choose a generator. Do you see the W and E? That means spawn them at west and east. And I'll show you W and E on the map in a second. If I do a bar, that means or. You can actually type the words and or, I believe. So if you want some randomization in there, you can say either west and east or north and south. So let's go look at the map and find west and east. So here's W, generator, and here's the east generator. Obviously, they used to be down here, and I just dragged them up and reused them, okay? When you start a new map, you have N, W, E, S for north, south, east, west. I also added generators B, C, D, southeast, southwest, and I use them for various other events. Going back to the events. All right, so the only other thing I want to show you here, besides the fact that there's a progression, that I have these events time out over a certain period of time and I start adding more and more difficulty, is that I have a new event for easy and hard. Typically, I call it easy and hard here, but it's really normal and hard. And this event will only trigger if the difficulty multiplier is 1. And this event will only trigger if the difficulty multiplier is 2. So 1 is normal and 2 is hard. So if you chose during the gameplay normal, all of these difficulty level 2s will never execute. So all these hard level spawns of zombies will never execute. All right. So last thing, a win condition. If you make it to day 48, so you put down just do this right at the start of the game. Do an event, set it to the 100 day, 100D, and go to command center, show as next swarm, doesn't matter what those are, but check this box at the bottom. Check this box at the bottom that says game 1, yes. Okay. No script at all. All this does is seeds the game to say, if you make it to day 48, you win the game. So you could see at day 40 down here, I start spawning giants. So you have to survive 8 days after I spawn the giants. All right, let's load another map. I'm going to load a hero defense map. So I think it's fairly limited on what we can do with hero defense. This one is called Passages. It's not posted anywhere. I've been playing with it just to learn more about what's capable in hero defense. If they add more capability, I'll post it. But one of the things I wanted to show was the ability to generate a map that every time you play it, it plays differently. So here's the story. You have a hero. She's a redhead. And her name ID is Hero. Okay. And you have a main base you can't build anything around. I blocked it off with gold so you can't put buildings down. And she runs around the map. Now, Fog of War is on. She can't see all of this. She has to find it. I put just for fun, put a script on enter. And that is Ruin Treasure AL. Oh, there's something inside of it. You can't edit. All right, so what happens when you run over that is it just plays the sound of a heartbeat. Try to add some tension to the game. This is Uncle Lucy. And when you go near him, it plays this sound, an evil laugh, and he becomes part of your team. So this map has an entry here, and this is your cousin Ophelia. Okay, and so it plays a sound, and when she joins, and she's actually a critical part of the game, and you'll see why. But so there's logic. I have an idea on what I want to do with this map. I have this hero that has to stay alive. You can see there's a Titan up here. There's generators around the Titan, and there's a trigger under the Titan. So as soon as I step on the trigger, I'll be stuck in between units that will spawn at generator D. Okay, so I'm stuck in the middle with the Titan if I go after him, and I have to survive these spawns. These guys have got an ID, and so I'm not going to go through the whole logic of all of these, but basically I'll talk through it. These guys, once they die, all four of them, they're given the same ID, and when is dead, old men, I believe they're called, old group, when I have a script that's running that says is dead old group, and as soon as they die, something happens. Somebody spawns somewhere. These guys are executors, same thing. Once you kill these three guys, you actually spawn an endless wave of guys coming down here, okay? And there's two ways to stop this. One is to go to fight your way all the way to the end and actually run over this little box, or kill cousin Ophelia. I give you a hint that says she's evil, she needs to die. If you don't kill her, you're going to be standing there all day long fighting those zombies or working your way through. Now, it might be possible for you to come down this way and get this first before these guys even spawn, before you even kill these, but I have a kind of a protection trigger down here that as soon as you step here, it warns you don't go any further. I think it's maybe warning here. And if you step on this area, giants spawn here. All right, it says, look, you didn't listen to me, you're going to get hosed. But you can always run the giants back this way and kind of get back around here. And there's things I want to do that frustrates me a little bit that I can't do. For instance, I want to know what direction the user is coming from. I'd like to set a variable when they step here, and I'd like to know who stepped there. Can't do that. So if they came through this direction, I would change the logic of how the game plays. And the win is that you basically just come down here and step on this box. You'll have a heck of a time doing that, though. Okay. Any case, I just wanted to show you the map. So let's start a new map. I think I've touched on probably more than I should have, and I'm sure I've made it a little overcomplicated, but you can always ask questions, and hopefully this next portion will help you get started. So let's start a new map. Alright, so the new map starts out blank like this. It gives you 4 unit generators, and like I said, they're north, south, west, and east. It gives you, right in the center, your command center, and you can drag it, and you can move it up here, and make a whole bunch of things that go on, okay? I'm going to leave it, kind of leave it there, I guess. Yeah, let's leave it right in the center. I want to go to the Painter tab that's over here on the top left. I can see entities, and I can see the Painter tab. We'll go through each of these. So I'm going to select a very large width pen, and I'm going to start drawing grass. Okay. Now I can choose a square pen. I'll show you in a little bit why the square pen is really useful. This red line is the edge of the map, and it's not as visible because I chose dark moorland. Let's choose let's choose peaceful lowland. I'm going to do this again. File new. Don't save changes. Peaceful lowland. Okay, you see how the color changed there? But the reason I did that was to show you that this is really the buildable edge of the map, and this is the area you can see when you're playing the map. You can see there's still room outside, so you can actually put mountains that are the units that spawn aren't visible until they come into this red area, and you can move these generators. I believe something's wrong. I can't select anything. Alright, this is only if you don't want to draw your own map. You want to use Peaceful Lowlands as it's been drawn and just build a story. They've given you the ability to choose random or manual. So you're going to want manual. Alright, I'm going to go into Painter. I'm going to start drawing grass. Alright. Just enough to make it interesting. Zoom back. Then I'm going to just choose the round circle. And I'm going to choose earth. Make that pretty visible. Now I can choose square and reduce the size and start making areas that are, you know, anything I want to draw. So the way this will look, you can just click on entities and you'll actually see how that looks in the game. So while we're in entities, I'm going to pull down the category, and I'm going to choose units, and I'm going to not make the mistake of leaving units out of the game. So I have units here, and I can click Control C and Control V and paste them. And you can see on the top left, I've now got 4 rangers. I'm going to click a soldier, and I'm just going to click Create. Come on, where are you? soldier go? Didn't work. Create. He's out here. Alright. So let's put some water down. Select water. Let's go circle. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm making some choke necks. Alright, pretty sloppy, but you get the idea. Now let's do mountains, and I want to show you something about mountains. So objects allow you to choose mountain, tree, gold, stone, and iron. So let's put some stone down and some gold, boom, boom, and some iron, boom, boom. Alright, so one thing you can do that's kind of neat is I can choose square and go down to unit size of 2. And I can choose erase, and I can make it so that you can put a mine right here and really get an enormous amount of resources. So if you want to give your players a lot of resources, you carve out a 2x2 block. Same thing with trees. So I'm going to put some trees down. Increase the size of this. Put some trees. Trees. All I'm doing is left clicking, holding it down and dragging. And then I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go back to the 2x2 and choose a square, erase. And I'm going to make room for so it's exposing the grass underneath it. Give them a lot of wood. Alright. So far we have no zombies. We have some units here. The normal programming of money coming in is built into the game. You don't have to do anything about it. You do need to know some things, and you'll learn it from map creation, like how far, if you put the trees so far away that you can't use the initial resources to build Tesla towers to get to them, then nobody can win the game. You can drop resources on the map. So let's go back to entities, and let's choose survival, and I'm going to choose wood, and I'm going to create, and I'm going to put some wood piles around the map. I think I put a couple inside the trees. Doesn't matter, we'll leave them there. Alright, so I got a little bit of a map here. So now you have the ability to use the painter and choose infected, and these are all of the infected, and I'm going to choose weak. I'm going to increase the width, and I'm going to draw some infected. A lot of infected. All weak. Alright. Be careful. Again, you need to know the game. You need to understand that if you drew 1,000 harpies, you'd probably lose immediately. But let's go to a width of 1. And let's be a real prick and put in a harpy right here at the start of the game. Alright. I'm going to go back to the entity view. And I'm going to zoom in. Just got to wait for it to draw. And you can see she's sitting right there. Alright, probably gonna lose my game. Let's do this. Let's make sure we don't lose the game. And let's put a couple snipers down. A little bit of a bug in the game there. I have to zoom in or out to show some of these units. And I'm going to make this guy, just for the heck of it, I'm going to make him a veteran. So I click that box. that says, is veteran? Yes. Alright, so he's probably going to be attacked first. I want him to be attacked first because I want you to lose your veteran right off. But these three ladies will take care of him. Okay. Alright, so we got zombies on the map, and you can see I painted them in, and here they all are. We have no waves set up. I'm not going to show you how to do waves yet. You can figure that out, or you can watch another video. Last things, alright? Stream Workshop. You can publish this right now, and nobody will like you. If you publish crap maps, people will run them once and then you get a really bad name. So you never want to publish them to public. If you have friends that want to test it, you can publish them to your friends. You can publish maps if you want to send them into Gomez or to Tab and let them look at the map. You can publish them to Hidden. But typically what you would do is you would play your own map. You would not publish anything. You would save your map. Alright, save it as tutorial A1. Then I want to basically say testing, generate level locally. Alright, so let's do this before we leave this. I'm going to go to the game narrative. I'm going to say on game 1. Let's do this. Let's go and choose just like I did before. I'm going to say at day 2, a win event. And I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to say game 1. Then I'm going to go to the game narrative. And on game 1, I'm going to choose display message plus short game, eh? I'm not going to do any custom sound or anything else like that, alright? So, game lost. Let's do this. I'm going to show you something a little more sophisticated. I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to say, I'm going to give an ID to this editor. And I'm going to call him Hero. It's not a hero map, but I'm going to call him Hero anyway. And I'm going to do another event. And I'm going to call it a loss event. And I'm going to set a condition that it will run this script if Hero is dead. Now I can put this either in this condition right at the start, which I recommend, or you can put it in the script. And I'm not going to go through the issues with this because it only runs this once when the hero is dead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the bottom here and I'm going to say game lost. Okay. And then I'm going to go over to the game narrative and I'm going to choose display window message. You lose. Can you tell I used the caps lock key for talking? Alright, very simple. We have a win condition, a lose condition. We didn't put any start condition down, but so let's give resources. We're going to give 400 gold at the start. we could display a message. I'm not gonna let display message. Okay. We could do sound. Okay, good enough. Generate locally. Now the star in the upper left hand corner that's not there anymore means it's not saved. It's a dirty bit. So if I went in here and I touch this, you can see the dirty bit's on. Even if I turn it off, it's not going to undo it. So it's going to ask me when I exit. So every time you do generate locally, it'll both save and generate locally, and it will remove the dirty bit. If I say exit now, it knows that I didn't save the map, so it will ask me. I'm just going to say yes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to play the game locally. Just got to wait for the app to start running. It's loading, loading, loading. There's a lot of sophistication in what they call the ZX code. That's their scripting language. You're going to need to spend hours learning a lot of that. If you go through my custom button video, you'll see some scripts. I've also posted some free maps with scripting in it. Guys ask questions and I typically answer them and give them the map, so I post them for everybody to use. I could probably make a list of those. Some of them are kind of neat. I'll show you what I do after this to play around with new features and learn what they've done in the editor. So now it's under custom level. I think it's tutorial A1 or something. Not tutorial, that was a different one I did actually. We didn't give a picture. What the hell did we call it? Peaceful Lowlands, new level. Damn, I can't remember what we called it. Alright, let's load new level. See if this is it. So you can turn off Fog of War at the start of the map just to look at the zombies and see things going around the map for debugging, and then turn it on at the end. I tend to log everything. I haven't shown you how to write stuff to the log file or view the log file and debug while you're running the game. I have other videos that show you stuff like that. Let's hope this is it. Yep, there we go. Alright, remember we got a harpy down below? You think she'll attack us?
I need to kill something.
What's up? Any infected around? You call that a plan? Roger that. Are you sure?
Our forces are in danger.
Okay.
Yay, we didn't lose her. She got hurt. Okay, so let's just...
Last night was amazing. Are you sure? What? Yeah.
So you could see the game is progressing like normal.
You are gonna pay me for this, right? Gotcha.
Death, lovely death. Yeah, death sentence.
So I'm going to put down some houses. I'm going to put down... Oh, I should have put down the... I need workers.
At your service. Great idea, sir.
What?
This is the map.
Attention. Building
So
completed.
many targets, gotta love it.
You are gonna pay me for this, right?
So we don't have any spawns happening at any specific time. But one of the things I do want to do is I'm going to end this by letting my hero die, and you'll see we'll lose the die
Building
condition.
completed. Attention.
Where
Building
is he?
completed. Any orders? Just tell me what to do. All the way.
So tired. Last night was amazing.
Just put these guys on chase.
My rifle is ready.
So I don't have to micromanage them.
What? You are gonna pay me for this, right?
Tell me.
Hopefully he doesn't die right off, but we're going to let him very shortly.
Attention. Building completed.
Alright.
Our soldiers are in trouble.
Someone's in trouble.
What? Roger that.
Attention. Building completed.
Alright, I won't get carried away playing this game, but I just wanted to show you, right, see how the 2x2 allowed me to put a sawmill in the middle of the trees and get higher income level.
Attention. Building completed.
What's up? Any infected around?
Attention. Building completed.
Yes, tell me what to kill.
Choose your mayor.
So I don't choose the those levels. That's not in the game that I know of yet. I know everybody's asked for it. So we're gonna let this guy die right now, okay? You win. We got to day 2. God damn it. So it's day 2, hour 0, so we win. But if I had moved that soldier up into the group and let him die, it would have said you lose. All right. You could play a sound. You could show pictures. All right. Game over. Hey, look at that score. Awesome. I rock. All right. So I said I was going to show you one more thing. And that'll be the last of this. This is going on a little bit longer than I wanted, but hopefully this is enough for you to learn from. It's not going to teach you to be a computer programmer. We could do another script that focuses on programming. It's seems people have a hard time with Boolean statements, and you can get very complicated with the Boolean statement. Boolean meaning true or false. I could show you some of that, but I want to show you how I play around with maps just to learn. See, that was a map that you would probably spend an hour playing, and if that was your intention, but your initial goal is just to learn, not necessarily to post a map. So I'm going to show you how I learn. Specifically, like they gave us wasps. What does a wasp do? Okay. So I'm going to load a map that I've been working on that is very quick and easy for me to be able to play around with. This is how I learn the custom buttons very rapidly. and was able to post a video to show you guys how to use it. So let's load this one. Alright, first we're going to look at events. There's a couple of events, okay? And this is part of the programming learning, alright? I put down some fairly complicated scenarios here. Let's look at the map. Alright, look what I've got. I want to play around with generators. So I have a generator here, and I have lucifers that will kill anything that comes out of that generator, and I have snipers, and I have executors, all that will kill anything out. Now I wanted to play with wasps, so I loaded wasps around here, and I trigger things here. And one of them is if I take this radar, which is infected, and it has a name, radar, infected radar 1. This thing has unit generator B. What you'll see is one of the events. Horde is radar captured. Did I spell that right? Horde is radar captured. Alright, so where's the radar? Okay, so I have this radar and it's called infected radar 1. And I have an event. If things captured. Block number 1. Log. Horde is radar captured equal curly bracket. Horde is radar captured equals curly bracket. Horde is radar captured. So this is the text in the log file. It would log Horde is radar captured equal, and it would log true or false, because that's what the variable contains. The variable is defined as a Boolean. Then I have a random condition. So I roll the dice. I say random sub 4 will give me a number between 1 and 4. If it's equal to 1, then it will spawn this event. But it will not do it until if Horde is radar captured. It stops doing this event once the radar is captured. Let's go. It's probably on the map. So this thing is, variables can be changed based on map conditions and based on scripting. Let's go back to the map. Let's edit this. Oh, you see this? Script on join block. Let's read this block. And what it does is says Horde is radar captured is equal to true. So once this radar joins the colony, it sets a variable called Horde is radar captured to true. And then I start spawning units here. Okay. So it has other generators up here for me to experiment with, but this is kind of thing I recommend is don't waste time building a base. Look at all my wood coming in. I got oil coming in, I got gold, and I've got gold and stone. I don't even have to place a building. I get everything coming in automatically. I've got increased storage because there's a warehouse here. I've got a wood mill. So I can generate and create any kind of scenario, play around with it, save it as a different name, and learn from this. Okay, so I kind of recommend you guys play around with this. This isn't really a playable map. It's for you to learn from. All right, well, I hope this was helpful to you. Just go fly Vinny on Twitch. if you want to follow, I'll post some of these videos. I'll post additional videos. I'll work with you if you want to come online, and we'll actually work on problems. And this is kind of how this got started. People started asking questions, and I started putting them down. I think I have another scenario where if the population reaches a certain level, other things start generating here. I wanted to do counts. I wanted to play around with logging. Logging wasn't working at one point, and I wanted to keep track of it. Anyway, that's all for now. Hopefully this was useful to you, and have a good day.